We currently have 1,200 people with us at this very nanosecond, and I thank each and every one of you for being here as I introduce my next guest. Clearly, we're going over an hour. I'm not going to say how much longer the show is going to be. It feels like it's going to go another 3 hours because that's how much fun I'm having. And I want to thank everyone, honestly, for all the questions. More questions, please, from twitter.com as well as the chat room. Our Jamie and Mac are doing their damnedest to get those questions forwarded to me. I'm sorry that I haven't got to more of them in the meantime. I'm going to introduce my next guest now. But first I'm going to explain how I met this man. My gal, who I've mentioned a few times now, Jamie, who is later, I'm sure, going to have words with me about talking too much and saying her name. But she's just, you know, shy and private is all. She turns me on to the show, Freaks and Geeks. It came and went. I missed it. I'm sorry, all-powerful Oz, Judd Apatow, for missing your little genius thing. But Paul Feig also, I think, was a great deal to do with the creation of the show and the execution. It came and went. It was on one season. I'm sorry I missed it. And so Jamie says, we got to Netflix this entire season that was on and watch the thing nonstop. So we begin this process, and a couple episodes in, I'm watching the show, and I'm seeing what looks to be, dare I say, a younger version of myself. And then this actor, playing Neil, the character of Neil on the show, does a Rod Serling impression, a little Twilight Zone he throws out there. And now I'm freaked, because I did Rod Serling when I was in my mid-20s, or he was probably 19 or 20 at the time. We'll find out when he answers that question in seconds. And I'm freaked, and I'm obsessing on this guy. And so we're watching the show, and we're loving Freaks and Geeks, and I loved everybody on the show. There wasn't a weak link. And I'm one of these people who, if I like someone, I want to meet them, and I don't want to just think about it. So I think I called my manager. Was that the first step, Jamie? Well, yeah, I called my manager, and I said, I want to meet this guy. And my manager said, well, it shouldn't be too much of a problem because we represent him. And I said, I like you even more now. And then so he put me in contact with, is that how we got the email? Well, we'll find out. I'm going to introduce him. We're going to finish this story together. I went after this guy, I'm not going to lie, and I decided I wanted to meet him. I was a fan, and now we're buddies, we're pals, and I think that he's incredibly talented, and he has a new motion picture coming out this summer that's going to rock the world because it's a Quentin Tarantino picture, a motion picture. Okay, so please welcome, we're going to have some clips, a clip of the trailer of the movie as well. It's called Inglourious Basterds, and one of its stars goes by the handle Mr. Sam Levine. Sammy.
Hey!
How are you, buddy?
I'm so good. I'm so good.
Thank you for sitting there for 12 minutes while I introduced you.
My absolute pleasure.
Did you enjoy the crawl over?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I learned that in Israeli boot camp.
Uh-huh.
I never did such
No,
a
no,
thing.
no. Did you ever do the kibbutz?
No, I've never been.
Yeah, me neither.
On a kibbutz, no.
Yeah, no. My family's so Reformed Jews, we're Catholic.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you. So, was it an email? How did I first reach out? How did you hear that I was knocking on your door?
Now, don't make a liar out of me, because the lovely Kate who did my makeup earlier asked how we know each other, and I started with the way back.
Okay, but that was a brief introduction.
But it meant so much more to me than it did to
Please
you,
tell
clearly.
Please.
So let's not skip it, though.
What do you mean, Sam? What do you mean busting me on my first show? How we met at the
You
Friar...
and I met in the year 2000 at the Friars Club roast of Rob Reiner.
And you're at the age of...
I was 18 years old.
My pants were older that
Yes.
night.
Yes.
The tuxedo...
Most of the jokes told that night were older.
My
than me.
tuxedo was older. You were 18.
I was 18.
Okay. And you were at the roast of Rob Reiner.
Yes.
In New York.
In New York.
Which eventually aired.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the roasters.
You were fantastic.
Oh, stop.
I was merely on the dais. I was just there for to bring the average age of the dais down to below 150.
Uh-huh.
That's why they put me up there.
Okay. And so how were we introduced that night? That day?
I waltzed right up to you and said, I'm a huge fan. I was on the show where they made me do a Shatner impression, a whole bunch, and then you started talking about Shatner, and you launched into what was hilarious anecdote about him that involved a lot of the impression, and then And then it seemed about a half minute in, and it was like, oh wait, this is too rehearsed. And then you saw that look in my eye that I was picking up on it, and you immediately stopped and went, sorry to pass off material as conversation, but it fit the moment. And I said, you're right, it did, and I'm thrilled for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I busted myself within the conversation. Probably because I saw it in your eyes, you said.
You did. You saw it in my eyes. I have very telling eyes.
Oh, well, you do. Thank God you don't have to wear the sunglasses.
Thank God.
Yeah. So I'm glad that that moment meant so much more to you than it did to me.
Yes.
To the point where I'm watching you on Freaks and Geeks and have no connection
None
that that's a little pisher I met in New York so many years before. Because this only happened a year and a half ago?
Oh, not even.
Not even.
Last summer.
Was it last summer?
Summer of 2008.
It was last summer.
Can you believe that?
Sammy?
It feels like it's been years.
It feels like you from when you were 18. All right, so I reach out, and then this new introduction, this reintroduction, how do you first hear about that?
I received an email from my management company saying, hey, Kevin Pollak would like to get in touch with you.
And you said, that asshole already knows me.
I said, I can't believe he doesn't remember meeting me. We had a hilarious chat 8 years ago, and he doesn't remember it. No, I didn't. None of this.
You had
I said I'm thrilled. Oh my God, how do I get in touch? And they said we're going to give you his phone number because he wants you to give him a call. And I was traveling that day. I was coming back from Louisiana back to Los Angeles, and in the stopover I had in Houston, you had already left me a voicemail.
Wow.
So I picked up the. I said,
that was a very exciting thing.
It was very exciting.
Okay, because on my perspective, it was I hope this kid calls me back.
Oh no!
See, that was my end of it.
See, we were both very.
Now, when we do this again in a second take, maybe leave out the shit about Louisiana.
Fair enough.
No, I'm kidding.
No, you're right.
There are no second takes.
Extemporaneous. By the way, can I just get this out there?
Yeah.
I have to say, because of the format and everything.
Is it freezing in here, or is it just me?
Oh no, it's wonderful.
All right, hang the
It's
meat
wonderful.
when you get a chance.
I know this is going to get at least one laugh in the room. At least one person will appreciate.
From
this.
Jamie?
Maybe.
Okay.
Welcome back to classic Krusty. Here with my guest, AFL-CIO Chairman George Meany. I'd like to talk about labor relations. Thank you.
Nice.
You just lost 1,000 viewers.
We only had 1,000.
But exactly.
We didn't lose everybody.
You did. You lost 1,000.
No, we gained
viewers,
6.
But I got one laugh, and that's all that matters to me.
It's
a silent laugh.
She doesn't want to be heard. You and Jamie do have this incredible talent that out of nowhere and for no apparent reason, a quote from the television show running now 20 years,
Yes.
Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
A quote, and then, but it's not like you remember an episode.
Right.
It's every line of dialogue throughout the entire 22 minutes.
Something like
Almost.
that. Almost.
There was a day where you guys text back and forth on one particular episode.
Yeah.
May have been The Plow. Was it The Plow?
No, it was, which one was it? Bart Gets an Elephant. Thank you. Whisper.
Sure.
Yeah, Bart Gets an Elephant.
And yeah, that's amazing
We
to me.
got up to, I think we got up to 29 quotes that day.
I'm going to go to, thank you, Jamie, for forwarding this. This is from @Eli Henry, I'm guessing.
Oh, all right.
Eli Henry, sorry. For Sam.
Yeah.
You've had an interesting career. Well, thanks for that, Eli. Appreciate it. What are you? Seriously? Do you stay? Obviously, Tarantino was a change for you.
Sure.
How was it?
It was a great change. I see change with every new job because I've never played the same geek twice.
Nice.
I like to say.
Nicely done, sir.
Thank you.
That wasn't patent material either, was it?
I've actually never uttered that statement in my life.
Okay.
Right until just now.
All right.
Um,
Of course, it's different. It's like
Yeah.
it's crazy. You're
it was
you're in
certainly-
the army and you're killing Nazis. I
Yes,
mean, this is ridiculous.
It was the most different job compared to a lot of things
Everything.
that people have seen me in before.
Yeah.
So I will give Eli that.
You're in Berlin. You're shooting a movie. Had you ever shot in Europe before?
I shot
Just
in
say no.
Eastern, no.
Never.
Never.
First time.
First time.
Yeah.
First time in Europe.
You shot in Eastern.
I shot in Eastern Europe once before, but you don't want to go there.
Was it in Prague?
No, it was in Romania.
Why don't I want to go there?
Because you enjoy having good health, right?
Oh, I thought you meant go to the topic.
No, you don't want to go to Eastern Europe.
All right.
You don't want to go to Romania, specifically, and eat the food and become very ill.
Okay, this comes over from the chat room within Kevin Pollak's chatshow.com.
All right.
Thank you, Mac, for sending this over. Thanking LeVar. He helped crush it in the first hour of the show. Lots of love there. Question for Sam. Did the cancellation of Freaks and Geeks open doors for you in terms of giving you different, better opportunities? Let me offer up the first part of the answer.
Please.
Why would a cancellation create opportunities? You idiot. I really want my audience to feel like we're one.
Yeah.
And that the love between us is on a very delicate, sort of thin line.
Agreed.
And if they cross it and then ask something that makes no sense, I'm not going to hold back.
No, you shouldn't.
All right, I have
if you
to.
didn't say it, I would have.
I have to start setting a precedent, I think, is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And we just jumped 9 viewers, so there. Okay, so I think the question may be wonderful in that. Tell us about the opportunities that came your way once you were one of the stars of Freaks and Geeks. Not the cancellation creating opportunities, the actual being on the show.
It was, it completely changed my life. I'd been living in New Jersey.
I'm guessing the cancellation, by the way, allowed you to sleep till noon again every day.
It did,
Yeah.
it did. It allowed me to sleep as late as I wanted for a good number of months.
Let's just address that.
It was the craziest thing. I mean, I'd been auditioning and doing bit parts, one-liners,
Started getting
commercials,
offers
stuff
now?
like that. Yeah. After Freaks, I got a few offers, mostly to do independent films that were being produced for about $200.
Right.
They were probably porn, now that I think about it.
Probably porn.
Probably porn, because really, that budget, it seems suspicious. But the show was amazing. I'd never read material that good, and I considered myself a pretty avid TV watcher. So I was excited that not only was something like this being made,
Right.
but hey, I get to be in it too. And then
It would be nice if we had a clip of Sam from Freaks and Geeks we could pull up.
I'm sure you can't find any on YouTube.
Really? Because you spend most of your days looking?
There are many there. No, I spend most of my days ruining the fact that they will run forever on YouTube, and I will not see a dime.
Oh, so it's the seeing a dime that matters. Is that it, Sam Levine?
No, I tell you what it is. Can I tell you what it is? Freaks and Geeks is on DVD, which is how most people know the
That's
show.
how I learned about it.
And people always come up to me like, hey, man, I bought the DVDs. I bought the expensive one, too, so hope you like your money. We make $0.00 from the DVDs of Freaks and Geeks, the actors. We will never see a dime, no matter how many of those get sold, because when we were made in 1999, there was no provisions in the SAG contract covering TV on DVD, because it wasn't a thing yet.
And they wonder why we might strike.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, side note.
No. All good.
So the show ends, and I got despondent and angry. I used to wander around the NBC parking lot, throwing empty liquor bottles up at Scott Sass's building, or unit. Yeah. Anyway, really takes me back. And then I actually, my dear friend Mike Rotman was the head writer on a game show on the USA Television Network called Strip Poker.
He wasn't suicidal?
No, he was doing great. And so he and I had become friendly, and he told me that they were looking to staff the show. And I said, well, crap, I've been doing stand-up for 6 years, or 5 years at this point. Hey, what do you say? Can I come write on the show? And he was like, well, submit some stuff, and I'll see if you fit in. And I wrote him some stuff, and he said, yeah, you're great. Come on in. So actually, that was the second job I took after Freaks and Geeks, or the first job I took after Freaks, was writing on a non-union game show on USA.
So in answering the question,
Yeah.
how gloriously did the cancellation of Freaks and Geeks change your life?
How many doors did it open?
How many doors did it
Yes.
open? Thank you.
Yeah.
It allowed you to become a writer on the game show on the
On the USA Network,
USA
a non-union game show.
yeah.
So that's how many doors it opened. It sounds like many.
Do we have a clip of Sam? May we? I would like to throw this to a clip because I want to see the Inglourious Basterds clip. I'm really chomping on pins and needles because I'm so excited for you. Freaks and Geeks is what I said. We're going to show the Freaks and Geeks? Yeah, the Inglourious Basterds is what I want to see. I'm kidding. Show the Freaks and Geeks. I'm just trying to mess with you people. What's the matter? Everybody's panicking like I'm having a senior moment. I'm being an asshole on purpose.
At this point in the show, people are like, oh, it's not running smoothly, Kevin.
Everyone needs to make fun of how badly this is. Please, listen, if we can't take the piss out of ourselves, someone else will. So please, jump right in. Let me know when the clip from Freaks and Geeks is ready. Ready?
Oh, boy.
Roll it. Yeah, I'm sorry, we can't show clips. We can't clear them from the live show to what you're seeing now. Tell us what you can about that fabulous clip.
Well, for those people who know the show, we're sitting there watching a porn that Daniel DeSario, played by A-lister James Franco, has given Sam Weir, John Daly, to watch because he doesn't know anything about sex. He wants to learn, and so that's the 8mm porno that he lets him watch.
Sure.
Now, there's an earlier scene where I actually take the 8mm reel and I kind of pull a few frames out and look at it, and oh my gosh, this is porno. And the props department got a real kick out of actually giving me an 8mm pornographic film to look at in that shot. And they claimed it was nature footage when I asked what it was. But in that very first take, which I believe is the one they wound up using, I really looked at it and went, ooh, a tit. This is real porn I'm looking at here.
Was it 70s Bush?
It was definitely 70s.
Nice.
Yeah. Good times.
Yay.
Good times from the set.
All right, while they're gearing up the clip, the best quality clip possible of the Inglourious Basterds trailer.
Yes.
Tell me about the cell phone issues on the set when working with the great, one of my heroes, Quentin Tarantino.
Now,
I find this wildly...
Now you can't get me in trouble because I'm merely going to talk about the procedures, about how it works. And I have, mind you, nothing but respect for this procedure because I think it does absolutely make the set run better. Quentin is very anti-cell phones, especially on set. There is nothing that's allowed to beep or notify or ring or distract you in any way from the job you were supposed to be doing on his set. And I do have true respect for that. So when we went to work every day on the set of Inglourious Basterds, there was always a large crew member who would stand by the front, the entrance to wherever the set was, with a big box and 100 Ziploc bags, and that's where you left your phone and your pager and your whatever, anything that would buzz or vibrate or make noise. You would have to leave it there, and if you left set, you could come get it out and check it out and do your mail and whatnot, but if you went back in, you have to leave it there, because God help you, if in the middle of a take, or while Quentin was talking, or if he was doing something with the actors or getting ready for a scene, something went off.
Cell phone sound.
God help you.
Yeah. And one particular day. Now, Sammy.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like I'm forcing you to tell a story that's going to get you fired.
I wasn't there.
Okay.
I wasn't there the day this happened.
And by the way, let me preface my asking of the question, and then I'll tell you what I've heard.
Sure.
Yeah. And then you can confirm or deny.
Fair enough.
All right. What I love about this particular question, not the question, but the story about Quentin. This idea of putting cell phones in the box before you go into the workplace for a director, for the one who's in charge of everyone doing their job to the best of their possible ability, makes complete and total sense.
Agreed.
Being Colonel Klink about it is what I find enjoyable. But in terms of what's best for the movie-making process, it makes total sense, of course. Why? I mean, usually it's somebody's cell phone goes off in the middle of a take, and everybody's like, oh, shit, really? Really, you idiot? You're the one?
Yeah.
Nice going. And now with the texting, and dare I say Twitter.com, right?
Yeah,
you can't stop with the phone, with the constant pushing buttons and reading and writing. So yeah, it's a huge problem. But I did hear one particular day from one of the other people who worked on the movie, not you, that, but I just would love to, if you could confirm or deny, that a cell phone went off in the middle of a take. After this rule had been in place halfway through the shooting, a cell phone went off during a take, and Quentin stopped and said, you know what, I'm going to leave. Whoever's phone that is, it better be in that box when I get back, or, you know, there's going to be whatever. And he left, and people were in a panic, people kind of looking at each other, oh my God, is it you? It's not me, it's not me, is it you? It's not me. And after forever, Quentin comes back in, there's still no phone in the box, and he says, I'm going back out, I'm going to give you one last shot at this. And one of the producers put a phone in the box because they were allowed to have a cell phone on the set because they were one of the producers, and it was a specific reason why they were allowed. So they plopped one in there just to keep the ball rolling. Please, we've got to get through this day. And so he kind of found out and Maybe no more work was done that day. Is it possible that that actually happened?
I was not on set that day. So I
You witnessed, you did not witness
I did not witness this, so I cannot bear false witness. But it is my understanding that something like that happened.
Excellent.
Like that happened.
I would like to think that a director would stick to his guns with whatever decision that is. The whole thing depends on looking to the captain and him, whatever decisions he makes.
Right.
Yeah, you better stick by it. I love that the producer tried to put the phone in the box.
Well, that's the producer's job.
Yes, producer's job.
Make everything run.
I just love that. He's on his own path, and he's got his own absolute task at hand, which is to keep the damn thing running. And I just love that. What show did the best job making you feel welcome? We're already assuming it's this one, but other than that,
So second,
you've done a lot of guest starring roles on television shows.
I have.
Which one made you feel like you belonged the most? That came from at all Saint Ahmed. I have no idea. I could not have butchered that name more, but thank you very much. You know who you are.
All right. Yeah. I would say the wonderful people at the now gone show, Just Shoot Me. That
Really? That was the one?
That was the one.
And what did they do that was so different that made you feel like, oh my God, this is the greatest place to work?
I will tell you, when you were a guest star on shows, there's maybe a handful of people who will treat you like a person who belongs there.
Yeah.
And then for the most part, there's always a general feeling of, yeah, we're really glad you're with us for the week. Take care.
Right.
And on the set of Just Shoot Me, everyone who worked there, from the directors, executive producers, to the security guards on the night of the show, everyone made me feel like, oh, we're so happy to have you here. Thank you for coming to the show. We're so grateful. You're doing a great job. Everybody loves you. We hope you get to come back. We're all going to fight for you. And it was so sweet and welcoming, and the whole cast could not have been nicer. And in my opinion, that was the best ensemble comedy cast on television for their entire run.
Right.
And the directors, director and Pam Fryman, who I'm sure you know and have worked with, she's fabulous, and she was so sweet and just made me feel like I was a regular cast member, like I've been doing that show for 5 years.
And that's a lesson to anyone in the position of welcoming new people. I found truly the experience the first time working with giant movie stars who treated me like an equal. Very awkward and very odd. It was like, no, you're a giant movie star. You're not supposed to be treating me like an equal. And it was so fantastic that it sort of sets a precedent in your mind that this is something I would like to do for others. And did that leave you feeling the same way, that if you're in a position like that, you're going to...
Oh, very much, 100%. The way
have you had an opportunity thus far?
I don't know, maybe. People have asked me, I've been working on projects, and, people who are just getting into the business will come up and ask me questions and, how to get to the next level, things like that. And I always try to give them as best an answer as I can, and I never think anyone who wants to be in this business is foolish for thinking so I give everyone, the answers that I hope they want to hear.
That you've learned from?
That I've learned from.
I always say, just be ready to give your life to it.
Give my life to them?
No, when they ask, what should I do? Yeah. How should I get in this business?
Right.
What can I do to be in this business?
Oh, sure.
Should I try acting class? Should I do that? Just be prepared to give your life to it.
Absolutely.
And if the rejection doesn't kill you, or make you want to kill yourself, then give the rest of your life. You'll be giving the rest of your life to it. Are you willing to do that?
That's
question
that is
one.
sound advice.
And by the way, if not, there's the door.
Yeah.
Race for it, because it's all or nothing.
Take a real job with steady pay, legitimate hours.
The trailer is ready to go.
Oh.
I want to hear so much about what it was like to do the things we're about to see you do. Roll it, please, from Inglourious Basterds, Samm Levine. Again, there's the clip problem. I wasn't kidding before. We can't show clips. Hey, wow. It's just, it moves so fast. It's a great trailer, and they've done a couple of versions now, and it's gotten to the place now where the pace of it makes it look ridiculously cool and exciting for those of us that are crazed fans of Quentin Tarantino movies.
As I am.
You've followed this guy's career. You told me since his career began, really, like so many of us did. The fantasy of working for Quentin Tarantino for any actor is at the apex of all of our lists. I haven't had the opportunity to do so.
Give it time.
Well, whatever. I mean, it's just it stays at the top of the list. Who do you want to work with? Who? In my case, I've been silly, crazy, lucky to work with some of the greats in every field. And people always say, "Is there anyone left?" And it's all left. Please, are you crazy? First of all, how about this list? And you go down it. But it starts with Quentin Tarantino. You get the call. There's going to be a series of auditions that are looking at young Jewish American actors.
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically.
That's where it begins.
Actually, no. Our story begins almost 6 years ago.
What the?
Yep, that's right.
Take us there.
See, this is what I try to tell young people who are, oh, I want to get into the business. Oh, I've lived in Los Angeles now 6 months. What do I do? What am I doing wrong? And I say, well, here's the best part. The longer you stay here and meet more people, that only benefits you.
Okay.
6 years ago now is when Kill Bill came out. And Quentin went on the Jimmy Kimmel Live program to promote Kill Bill Volume 1.
Right.
And I am fortunate enough, I've known Jimmy for a long time, and he's a good man, good friend, and so I would hang out in the green room of his show. If he had guests on that I liked or maybe wanted to say hello to, or just to hang with Jimmy.
I like that.
And so when I read that Quentin was going to be on the show, I said, well, I have to go.
Yeah.
And I knew Quentin and Judd Apatow had known each other for some time, and Judd had mentioned to me that he had sent Quentin the complete series of Freaks and Geeks on videotape because it wasn't on DVD yet.
Right.
But he didn't know if he'd watched it, and so I went down to the taping of Jimmy's show, and hung out and met Quentin afterward, and he had not watched it yet. I asked him right off, have you seen the show Freaks? He said, oh, no, Judd sent me the tapes, but I haven't seen him yet, and I'm going to get to it. And I said, oh, okay. And that was really it. It was brief, but
much like our first meeting, it was wildly important to you.
Yes. Although...
And then 6 years later...
Although upon my second meeting of Quentin, which was later that very same year, when Kill Bill Volume 2 came out, he had watched all of the tapes. And I went, it was a very different meeting. This time he was eager to talk about the show, which I was happy to do.
Anyone would be.
And we talked about it at length for almost an hour.
I can't imagine Quentin talking at length for an hour about anything. That doesn't sound like him at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, you got
very out of character.
You got in 3 words.
And then we really just had a great chat. And in fact, we stayed at the green room so long that the security guards came in and said, hey guys, listen, we want to go home.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And we, oh, sure. So we left there, and he said a very sweet thing to me right before he left. He said, hey, I think you're really talented. I hope we get to work together someday. And I said, that would be amazing.
And then how many years later?
5 years after that meeting.
And this is
in
when
the summer of 2008 is when I had my meeting with Quentin for this role in Inglourious Basterds.
Shortly after we reconnected.
Very shortly after.
All right.
Yeah.
I like to bring myself into every story.
Nice.
So 2008.
So 2008.
August.
Or actually, I think it was July of 08.
You're going to go in and you're going to audition.
Yeah, I'm going to go in. Actually, it was just a meet and greet.
Meet and greet.
Yeah,
so
he was meeting everyone and saying hello.
You sit down and he says, I love you for this because.
He says, no, he didn't say, he said, hey, how long has it been? My God, so happy to see you again. And so we had a great
I love these general
chat.
meetings. These general meetings that actors go on. If you get to the point where you don't have to audition, but the first thing is just to sit down and to meet and greet. My experience is they're in a position where they can't really offer you the job if it isn't time yet, and you sense it within the first 9 seconds of the meeting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, within the first 9 seconds of the meeting, they want to relax your crack, so they'll say, I can't wait for us to start working on this. I'm so excited you want to do this. So really you know right away. Was that your sense as well?
Not at all.
Really?
Not at all. This was he had not made up his mind.
Well, no, of course, but I mean, but he wasn't offering it.
No, he could not have offered it to me.
Right.
He still had
It was
far
too
too many
early.
people to see.
So there's still a sense in you that even though it's conversational and you're not reading a part, you're not reading lines, wasn't there that sense where you're still sort of auditioning your personality and
very
your
much,
charm?
very much. Because I've learned from talking to directors and having enough of these meetings that when they're meeting you and auditioning you as an actor, they're also meeting you and auditioning you as a person. And they're thinking, is this guy somebody I want on my set for 6 months?
Right.
Do I want to have to be around him?
Right.
And
Is this guy Rip Torn?
Exactly.
Right.
Oh man, the story's legendary.
I'll share some. I'm not afraid.
All right. Well, I've never worked with him or met him.
Not today, because I want to spend the rest of the time with you.
Fair enough. But
tune in for that, y'all.
Ooh, I won't miss it. Yeah. So we had this great meeting.
Right.
And then I leave the meeting, and about an hour or so later, I get a phone call from my people saying, "Hey, Quentin loved you. He wants you to come back in, and 2 days later, and now read some scenes from the film with him."
Right.
And I said, "Great." So I read the script, which is incredible, 162-page epic.
Of course.
And,
I can't even imagine that. I'm so thrilled for you when you told me about this. Just holding that script in your hand.
Oh, it was so great.
There are those moments in an actor's life. I will never forget the moment that I, read Usual Suspects the first time. And as great as that movie is, reading that script the first time and those surprises that come your way, as a document in your pause, there's just something about it. So holding that 162 pages and getting through it. Just talk about that experience alone, honestly.
I read the script in, I think, about 2.5 hours.
Straight through, not going to stop.
Straight through,
no way
could
in
not
hell,
stop.
Right?
Yeah, I did not answer the phone. I had music playing when I
You
first
can't
started.
believe you're reading
off.
a Quentin Tarantino script,
I
right?
couldn't believe it. In fact, I was almost upset, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm reading it, I'm thinking, if I don't get this, I've just ruined his next movie for me.
Right.
And now I can't watch it as a fan for the first time with virgin eyes.
I want him to die a horrible death.
Yeah,
of course.
I can't. I will be so upset. And that was my first thought. Not that I won't get to work with him or be in the film, but now it's ruined for me. Now I can't get excited about this movie because I know exactly what's going to happen.
To everyone who's watching, this is the ridiculous process that goes on in the actor's mind. Also, the actor who happens to be a fan of that filmmaker, who loves that filmmaker's movies, but now that I have a chance to be in it, if I don't get it, they should die of cancer. All right, so while you have that thought in your head, you're reading the script.
I'm reading the script.
And you just can't believe how great it is.
I cannot believe it is, and I have read, oh boy, have I read some stinkers.
Yeah.
It's the best script I'd ever read.
Easily.
Hands down,
how exciting.
bar none.
Right.
I've never read a script that was more engrossing.
Right.
I couldn't wait to turn the page fast enough to find out what happens next.
Yeah.
The dialogue is so incredible. It's so sharp. It's so Tarantino-esque, as they say. And I just couldn't wait that I got to go in and read some of these lines with Quentin 2 days later. And so I did that. I learned my lines. I got everything down, and I went in and I read with Quentin.
Yeah.
And when I say I read with Quentin, I mean literally that. In most casting sessions,
Director
the director
never reads the lines.
Never reads. He
Director's
sits
sitting
there
there
and,
watching.
and watches you read with the casting assistant.
And in Quentin's situation, where he's convinced that he's a very gifted actor.
And he is.
Of course. Again, no one's going to ever see this.
Please.
I love the 14 people that are watching. I love them each,
so
and I'm going to
proud of
take them to lunch. No, listen, kind of a core group has stayed with us throughout this whole thing, and I'm going to get all of their names and visit their homes and thank them for watching that
That is so good of you to do.
Well, you're going to be with me.
All right. Did we lose it?
No. I want to include them now that I'm talking about how much I love them, and I've just realized that I haven't included them. Do you stay, Martha's from chat room asks, Sam, do you stay in touch with your Freaks and Geeks classmates? And we should end up doing dueling Shatners to celebrate Bill's 78th birthday. These are some of the thoughts you should keep in mind. And just so you know, those of you
this
watching.
Is still going on. That is impressive.
Those of you that are so dear, and those of you that are going to be eventually watching this over and over again through the lovely world of iTunes, this will exist forever. With 10 minutes left to go. During the entire 2 hours, which is what this particular show will run, the let's call it dressing room, because bathroom doesn't sound good. The dressing room that they've set up here at the Mahalo Studios, spare no expense, Calcanis, Jesus, has been locked for the last 93 minutes. And LeVar Burton has also been locked prisoner outside of that dressing room because his jacket is locked inside. He wanted to leave 42 minutes ago when he was done. No, he didn't. He was being very sweet. But he's staring daggers at me now, and the door has just now been opened.
Oh, success.
Say it with
Success.
me. Way to go, Tyler. Monocle whip. You are the man, the shite, and the bomb. I'm sorry, it was going on right behind you, my camera. And I had to let you folks watching know what was going on. LeVar, I love you. Please drive home safely and try to stay off the booze. So, she's asking if you're staying in contact with the Freaks and Geeks.
That's the most common question I get asked about the show.
How do you feel about that,
do I
Martha?
still
You
keep in
asked
touch?
the most common question.
No, it's fine. It's a fair question. The answer is yes, I keep in touch with most of them to a degree.
Right.
I'm friendly with all of them. There's no bad blood or anything like that. But John Daly, who played Sam on the show, he and I are very close.
We were all at your birthday celebration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what a lovely time we had.
We did. So you keep in contact with them and,
Yeah, very much.
and the dueling Shatners. Now, did you in fact learn your Shatner? Well, I should just ask. How did you learn to do William Shatner?
Now, I think you know the answer to this, because we've discussed it, but for those watching at home,
This is the thing about...
for the literally dozens of people who are still with us,
Yes.
no, I kid. There is no one anymore, say, post-1988, who does an impression of William Shatner. Everyone does an impression of you doing William
Now,
Shatner.
you weren't forced to say that by gunpoint, were you?
I was not.
You didn't sign a document when you came in here that said you had to say that?
No, sir. In
right.
fact, I had been saying that long before you and I even met.
All right. So when you do my version of William Shatner,
Right.
it goes a little something...
Now, wait a second. I need to clear this up.
All right.
I really need to clear the air.
All right.
Somehow I've become known to some degree for this Shatner impression.
Ah.
But what you need to know is that I have never claimed this was a good Shatner impression. I've never claimed it's up there with Kevin's impression.
Well, it's a little weird, I understand, and I appreciate the disclaimer. And maybe we should think of this in terms of this is Sam's interpretation.
Sure. To me, it's a little like, and since you've already done your Shatner, it's a little like, hey, everybody, weren't the Beatles great? Now welcome the Roodles. Wait a minute, that can't... Can
the
they really
Ruddles?
go on? Ruddles? Oh, Christ. They can't follow them.
Yeah.
But that's what, if I have to do it to stay in this business.
Well, I'm remiss and I'm hesitating to force you to do
No, it's
this.
fine.
Okay, good. Give us a little, just a little.
Just a little bit. If I had to say, Kevin's show was unwatchable. I couldn't. That's all I got for now.
Oh, God bless you for doing
you.
that.
Thank you.
That's like me. Well, whatever. Doing it in front of him. I mean, really, it's that sort of.
How can you? How can I?
We have 6 minutes left on my very first show, and I want to bring the audience back into it.
Let's bring them in. We've really neglected them, and so many people said they were going to ask me questions on the Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, can I have my camera for just a second here? I'm gonna
Oh,
shoot a
you've got
shout
it,
out.
mister.
Twitter Nation. Thank you to the 2,500 or so of you who are following me. But look, I have a couple of goals in my life, and one of them is Twitter domination. Now, we've all seen Rainn Wilson and Michael Ian Black and the great Kevin Pollak in the hundreds of thousands. I dream of a day, Twitter Nation, when I can stand alongside these men and bother 100,000 of you with my psychotic ramblings. So please spread the word.
I like
Thank
it. I like the cut of your jib. You're
Thank you,
just going to
sir.
go right in their face.
Well, you have to.
Yeah, you do.
You have to be direct and tell the people exactly what you want. Otherwise, you'll never get it. They're
like
not mind readers.
No, they're not.
No matter how many of them claim to be, there are no mind readers out there.
Okay, Crute, Twitter.com. What? Why is Crute's name here? Mac? Just talk to me. Not for me.
All right.
Someone asked me to do Calcanis doing Christopher Walken.
Ooh.
Yeah, that came from Twitter.
All right.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I do a strong Christopher Walken.
You do.
Far be it for me to say.
I would say the strongest.
Far be it for me to say that if you were to YouTube or Google Christopher Walken impression, mine would come up first out of 7,300, because everyone kind of does him now.
Sure.
I have one of the better ones. Let's just say that.
All right. I think you're being modest.
So my impression of Calcanis doing Walken
Yes.
would be to add a gallon of water to my own.
Ooh.
And then you'd have me doing a shitty Christopher Walken impression.
Much like my Shatner.
Okay, so here's mine just to compare, and I have a cold. Keep that in mind. You pricks, yeah. I'll break you down. I'll steal your heart and feed it to you before you die. How about them sweet words of wisdom? A challenge. There you go. Now I'll do Calcanis doing Christopher Walken. Hey, this is crazy, but maybe you should come to mahalo.com. Okay, thank you.
Sir, that is...
And that may be the funniest 90 seconds of my first 2 hours.
Because you're showing levels there. You're showing that you have the ability to tweak, which is really the heart of an impression. Anyone will tell you the good impression is not getting the highs and the lows. It's the middle.
Nice.
Because anyone can get the highs and the lows.
Right.
It's the middle. You can ride it out and adjust. That's a good impression.
Yeah. My answer is always, Christopher Walken, is that hard to do? Christopher Walken is easy to do. It's just really, really hard to do well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the problem. Sammy, in our closing minutes here, I hope you're working on your Larry King game, because that's coming.
I have been. I've had the added bonus of having some time.
I'm not seeing as many questions as I wanted to.
That's fine.
I don't know if I know we're getting a lot of everyone basically is writing Calcanis' Walken sucks ass. Everyone's really commenting. There's a lot of chatting going on. I guess not particularly questions because they don't care what we have to say, but they're having an awful good time talking to each other.
Right. No, that is you know what? It's their show.
No. The truth is, it's been a tremendous amount of positive feedback. People are really enjoying, and 22,000.
Yeah.
Have stopped by to say hello.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yes, it is.
That is 20. If every one of those people
Knew someone
who knew someone on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the great thing about this is, for the 9th time, we weren't ready.
Right.
And I decided, let's just jump in. There's been no real promotion. We didn't hire a PR firm. No. There hasn't been massive emails going out. I haven't even told all of my friends and family. I really haven't. The idea was just get this damn thing going. Just get up the machines, put up the cameras, just start the process. We'll find ourselves along the way.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you so much for being a part of it, being a part of the launch, the debut. You'll come back. You know you're my go-to.
I'm your Tony Randall.
You are my Tony Randall.
I am your emergency guest.
Yeah. When they
much to your audience's chagrin, there'll be more of this. If someone gets locked in a bathroom or can't make it, how much fun we'll have.
I love you for being here, and I would like you to do, if you're ready, I'd like you to play the Larry King game.
I will, but first, I want to say thank you to you.
Okay.
And there's not a large group in here so much anymore, but there is someone very deserving of a round of applause, and that is you, sir.
Why is that?
Because what you have just done today, and not just today, but in the days and weeks leading up to today, is not easy, no matter how easy you've made it look.
Right.
And I would like to give you a round of applause because this has been so much fun.
You're welcome back.
No, I'm not pandering.
You're welcome back anyways. You didn't need to say that.
No, I know I don't need to say it.
I already bought the Chevy.
No, it's the payments have been made.
Yeah.
No, it's
thank you, buddy.
It's not easy what you're doing. Just look at Late Night.
Thank you.
Just look at that.
And
that'll give you an idea of how not easy this is.
The idea is that we would have conversations, and we've pretty much done that thus far.
Yeah.
Hit me with your Larry
here it
King,
is.
and then I'm going to sign off.
All right. Larry King fun fact. My penis has a knuckle. Hohokus, New Jersey, you're on the air.
That's beautiful. And not true.
Not true. As far as we know.
That's just so funny, and I thank you for painting that visual for me.
My pleasure.
Samm Levine, ladies and gentlemen, watch him, please. Inglourious Basterds.
August 21st.
August 21st is the name of the movie that we're all dying to see. And my dear friend Samm Levine, who I so appreciate being here and helping me to launch the show. And I want to thank everyone who's watching right now, obviously, but also the people who will be watching in the future from this day, thanks to the iTunes podcast. Thanks for giving us a shot. We will be back here next Sunday. on your calendar, that'd be March 29th. 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, when my guest will be Joe Mantegna and the brilliantly funny Jim Gaffigan, and many great guests to be announced thereafter. This has been a gas. I can't believe it's been 2 hours. We set out to do 1 hour. And we're not going to edit. We're just going to throw it up. We're going to throw it up every week. And as you could see by my point of view, which is going to be shared with you a bunch more in coming weeks, this ain't your daddy's show. And it's going to be weird and awkward and uncomfortable at times, and I don't effing care. But I do care that you're here, and I hope you come back. I always want this to be your show. I want your theme song, 30-second clip sent to contact@kevinpollackstalkshow.com.
Chat show.
What did I say?
Chat show. You said talk.
Did I say talk show?
You did.
Jesus.
They know what you meant.
KevinPollacksChatShow.com. I'm 107, not just Larry King. Contact@KevinPollacksChatShow.com is where you should send the 30-second clips and any other contests you want. We're going to go more with the 3 degrees of Kevin Pollak. We're going to go. I just want this to be your show. I really, truly do. Sam, you have one more thing to add?
I do. For Kevin Pollak, connecting to Ronald Reagan. We got it.
We got it. We got Ronald Reagan did a movie.
The Young Doctors.
The Young Doctors with Ben Gazzara.
Ben Gazzara, who you were in Buffalo 66 with.
Who I did not work a scene in, but we're in the same movie together in Buffalo 66.
Politics.
That makes me 1 degree away from Ronald Reagan. The earlier 3 degrees. I don't know why Kevin Bacon needs 6. I'll never understand it. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. That is apparently all for this week from Kevin Pollack's Chat Show. Hit the theme music. Get ready.